Good morning, parents of GCS, loved ones of Grace Christian School. This is Dr. Pettinger. I know this isn't our normal weekly Wednesday update, but since we are now in week 14 and we only have 13 and a half instructional days left until we go out on Christmas break, I felt it was important to come to you on Monday this week and also Monday of the next 2 weeks, just so that we're all on the same page going forward. You know, I pray that each of you had a wonderful Thanksgiving break. My family and I did. I know many of us, it was just a chance to take that deep breath and relax with our loved ones. I know that the times right now are very strenuous for a lot of people with all of the different mandates and orders coming through the state, the feds, and all the different counties that we might live in. But I just pray that you had a chance to be able to relax and be able to fellowship with your families and just have a great time realizing what we all have to be so thankful for. And there's tons of things that we have to be thankful for. So I want to make sure, like I said, that we're all on the same page going forward. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is COVID. And I just want to get that out of the way. This entire break, I've been reading nothing but studies. I've probably been spent an hour a day reading all different types of studies on COVID. And as you can imagine, the gamut is out there. So as I go through, I look at the things I believe are relevant that are going to help us as a school continue to be open and continue to keep all of our students, faculty, staff, and you at home safe. And I want to review a little of that data with you today, and a couple of the different studies that I looked at that I think are kind of interesting and do make a little bit of sense. The first thing I want to do is to thank each one of you who have been responsible in contacting Miss O'Rue or myself about possible exposures that you had over the Thanksgiving break or possible COVID outbreaks that you have experienced in your family over break, and how exactly you should respond with your child coming to school. I can't thank you enough for being so responsible and stepping out there and keeping everyone safe. There shouldn't be a stigma if you catch COVID, because it's out there and the chances are pretty good, if you look at the data, that you will know someone who has it or been exposed to it. So to those of you parents who are doing what you're supposed to and letting us know, and we make informed decisions on whether your child should come to school or stay home, I can't thank you enough. And I encourage all of you, if your child's feeling sick or there's someone in your home who's not doing well, please reach out to us and we can talk it through to make sure that we're doing the best thing for your family as well as all the families here at Grace Christian School. And that is why, working together, we are currently in week 14 of the school year. Now, the first thing I want to do, if you're feeling sick, stay home. That's a pretty simple one. We've talked about that since August 23rd, and that can be for anything. Please stay home, and you can take a chance to figure out what it is at home before coming back and getting others sick. So that has always been the rule of thumb here at Grace, and as long as when we were kids too. I know sometimes we think attendance is extremely important and that we need to be in class, but we need to step back, especially now. If we're sick, stay home, get the rest that we need to get better. And that goes for our classroom teachers also. I really encourage them, if they're not feeling well, they need to stay home as well. If in doubt, give us a call. We'll walk you through what the protocols are for coming to school. The first thing that I want to kind of talk to you about is people are going to get sick. That's a fact of life. Before there was ever COVID-19, we had children getting sick, staff members, family members, and we've had to deal with that throughout the years. So I want to kind of share with you some other important information. If you have immunization shots scheduled for other things, or you need to get glasses, keep those doctor's appointments. One of the big research studies I read was how kids aren't getting their preventative checkups at the doctors or their shots or whatever they need, and it's really going to create a backlog when this is all over, and it could actually hurt some students in the long run, especially if you had a prescription that went out and your eyesight isn't as good or it's changed. You need to get that corrected and looked at immediately. So don't live in a state of fear that you shouldn't be getting your normal routine visits taken care of at your doctor's, and make sure you push for that. And just do the preventative care when you go in to the doctor's. So with that being said, I read this really interesting article from Dr. Menhavian, and she is an infectious disease epidemiologist at Zuckerman College of Public Health at the University of Arizona. And she talked about, in the simplest terms, that COVID-19 is a coronavirus, and the common cold is also a coronavirus. So please don't get upset and jump ahead and say, oh my goodness, I can't believe Dr. Pettinger is comparing COVID-19 to the common cold. I'm not. I'm just relating to you research that this doctor had, who is a professional in this field, and she says they share some of the same makeups. And so if you've had the common cold, that she shows that it only makes sense that the immunity, you may gain some immunities to COVID from the T cells that the common cold left behind. And she goes on to explain a lot of information in her report that seems to make sense. So if you've had a common cold, don't look at that as, oh my goodness, I got sick for a couple days and I'm back. That could actually help you in the long run if you happen to get COVID-19 and move forward. But I did think that was a very interesting article, how the common cold could possibly help with. Yeah, thank you for the thumbs up with that. And I do agree with some of the science in her article. It's not peer reviewed, and she's putting it out for other doctors to look at right now. Another very interesting article that I read was from a doctor at University of Stanford, and he's also, besides being an MD, he's a PhD, so he has even more studies and more education under his belt, and that's Dr. Jay Bahathram. And Dr. Jay Bahathram said some important things to realize is currently the state has had 22,910,351 people take the COVID test. And this was at the time he wrote this article, which was on November 8th of 2020. But he says what they're not telling you is that 21,766,302 people tested negative out of that, which equated to about 1.1 million people actually tested positive for the COVID virus. I see I'm losing a couple of you, and I just hope that you do go back when you get a chance to watch this whole thing. And so he equates to that to just about 5% of the people that actually are testing actually have the virus, and that's not even saying they have the extreme symptoms, that they could have mild or even be asymptomatic. He did say in his research that he found the fatality rate right now for COVID is at 0.2%. And that's a lot different than what we've been hearing in the media. And he says the reason for that is as they go back through and are washing through numbers that he's looked at in Europe, originally if anyone died and they also had COVID, it listed as a COVID death. But now some countries in Europe are actually going back through, and if you were in a car accident just because you had COVID, they're not counting that as a COVID-related death when they're looking at the total calculation. So I think that's something that's really important for us to understand. And he did say at that point, 20%, that number is skewed as you get older or if you have a compromised immune system or some other type of issues that you're facing. And it was an extremely interesting article, and you can find that if you just do a research on that or a Google search. But I found it very important that it really does add to what we've been talking to, fact over fiction and faith over fear. And our faith has been keeping us that we've been doing different things here at our school based on factual data, and that's how we're keeping our kids safe and been able to stay open now for 14 weeks. The final article that I read was something that we really took to heart back in August because it made so much sense with the science and the data, and that is the head of the article was ventilation is the key to battling COVID-19. And that is why we installed those CFM 3600 fans in all of our classrooms. We changed out much of our air filtering as possible to MERV 14, MERV 13 filters that help capture some of the virus. And the whole point of this is it's not going to eliminate COVID-19. What it's going to do is it's going to substantially lower the viral load, which in turn helps you from catching it or helps the odds of if you do, it's not as intensive. And so his article was these articles was very interesting. It was by Dr. Lindsay Marr of Virginia Tech and Joseph Allen, a ventilation specialist at Harvard Medical Center. And it also went on to talk about the different ways that they're finding that areas that in businesses that have increased ventilation, they're not seeing the uptick in infection that other places are that haven't done that. It makes perfect sense that this is real science, as immediately we went to outside dining and outside churches, and that's why that's so important. Let's hear. I got a note here. It says one thing that would have an extra layer of safety would be for the school to be virtual the next week after the holiday. That way, was anyone exposed, it would likely. That's possible. That's a possibility and something we might look at. But even if we went one extra week after the holidays, then you might need an additional week. But that's something we will definitely look at, Rebecca, and possibly. And I want to remind you, if you don't feel safe, keep your child home for an additional week. We do still have the distance learning option going on in every classroom, and you could put your child on that if you felt that was necessary for your home. And but that is something that we'll look at. So with that, we've also gone to getting our windows cut open at the top. If you've been to this school, it's an old school, and we've done our ventilation by installing fans, by opening doors, and changing our air filters. We've gone one step further, and that is by opening the top windows for additional ventilation. And in our multi-purpose room, we have removed the rear doors and created a positive airflow, which causes air exchange to happen 3 to 5 times per hour in the multi-purpose room. So those are some more things that we're doing to keep our students safe. And as we said in the beginning of this, if you don't feel well, stay home. If you have a question, please reach out to us and let us know what it is, and we'll try to help you through that. And if you have any doctor's appointments scheduled for yourself or your children, or you've had pre-existing medical conditions, please get those taken care of so that you can continue to be safe at home. Let's see here, the Christmas concert, the virtual Christmas concert. Last year, many of you remember when we did the talent show, we did the big premiere. Well, all the filming is done. As they say, it's the movie's in the can, and it will be getting premiered on December 10th at 7 o'clock p.m. on our YouTube channel, this channel right here. If you're just now tuning in for a moment, please like the channel. There's a little bell at the bottom, ring the bell, and you'll be notified immediately when I go live or there's something going on at the school and we go live with. So next on November 10th at 7 o'clock p.m., the Christmas concert will be going. Immediately following the Christmas concert, I will be going live, and we'll have a little commentary about it and have a little fellowship. And we're going to be giving away some prizes. We're going to do some drawings, and some teachers or students can possibly win. Now, there's one important caveat that you have to know. Share this with a friend. Tell your friend right now. Look to your friend and say, you have to be present to win. You have to be present to win. Yes. So if you are not watching the video and you watch it on a replay later on, or you're watching my show later and you found that your child's name was drawn and they weren't on at the time, we'll go and draw the next name as we move on. And the reason for that is we want to create excitement about the wonderful job everybody did on the Christmas program. You know what? On December 16th is the end of the second quarter for our junior high. They're moving right along, and it's hard to believe that they have 2 quarters in the books. So, hey, we were up to a high of 20 people watching the show. I'm glad that you're here and tuning in. Next thing I want to talk to you about is the basket drive. The Thanksgiving basket drive / turkey drive was tremendous. You need to pat yourself on the back for the wonderful job that all of you did. Whether you donated money, whether you donated product, or all that you could do was pray for us, all of that paid huge dividends because we were able to put together 75 baskets that were handed out to families who were in great need. In addition to that, through this whole thing, we also made contact with the Dream Center and the Justin Turner Foundation. Yes, Justin Turner from the Los Angeles Dodgers. You know, I'm an Angel fan, but big props have to go out to the Dodgers and Justin Turner for stepping up. They had a huge turkey giveaway in LA, but they also donated 40 turkeys and 40 bags of food to the drive that we participated in. That all of this food was handed out at the Rampart Division of the Los Angeles Police Department. And I have to tell you, the thankfulness of the people that were there is amazing. I also was privileged to be able to go out and they delivered to a couple of families who were shut in. You know, I know some of us are in tough situations, but if you look at the situation some of these families endure daily, it's brutal. And 7, 8, 9, 10 people living in one little hotel room with beds right next to each other with just a little kitchen. Moms and dads, grandmas and grandpas, everyone, you did a wonderful job making a huge difference in people's lives. I talked to one family, and they said the basket of food and the turkey was going to provide their family with a week of food, with the ways they were going to prepare it and store it. So, you know, I'm so happy that I could be a part of our school helping other families like this. And you need to know, too, that sometimes when you give something, you don't realize where it went or if it made a difference. This time, it made a tremendous difference in families' lives, and I can't thank you enough. So, hey, now, pull out your calendars. On December 9th is a Spirit Day. And on that Spirit Day, it's Crazy Sock Day. So if your kids have any crazy socks, they need to wear them on the 9th of December. And I'm sure we're going to have some fun giveaways and get a good chance to be in the yearbook with a picture. And those types of things are going to be going on the 9th. So Spirit Days are always fun to be able to do here on campus. We're at 21 people. We've had 7 likes. Ladies, moms and dads, grandmas and grandpas, and any students that might be home right now, I'm glad that you're tuning in. It's great to have you on, and I appreciate the questions that have been asked and everything. Let's see. The next thing is classroom parties the last week of school. As I said, we only have 13 and a half days left of school. That last half day is going to be spent on parties, and they're going to be very low-key. And our teachers have taken those over so that we don't have to have interaction with parents on campus and putting you at any risk or anyone else at additional risk. So they're going to be low-key parties on like we traditionally do at Christmas time. Our goal is to celebrate, thank the kids for the hard work they've done, and be ready to move on to the Christmas break so that you can all enjoy that safely with your families at home. And we're going to be praying for you the entire time that you are out on break. Hey, I don't know if you guys remember, but we had the new friend game where if you brought a friend up to the office or to one of the teachers and you could tell us 3 things about your new friend, we would put you in a drawing. Well, we've been doing some of the drawings. Boy, the numbers are just jumping through the roof. We're at 25 people right now watching the show, and I think that's great. So we're going to give away a few prizes right now. In 8th grade, Mackenzie, and it looks like her new friend is Berlin. So Mackenzie in 8th grade, congratulations. Here's your card. And come up to the office and you can pick something out of the bag of wonders along with Berlin. And let's see here. Next, in 4th grade, Siri and Burl in 4th grade can come on up and get something out of the bag of wonders. And we'll do one more. This is fun stuff. The kids really like this. I'll make sure I shake it around. I can hear you going, shake the box. Here's the box that we're using that they turn it in. And let's see here. Next, in 3rd grade, Callie. Congratulations, Callie and Landon. Come on up to the office, and you will be able to pick out of the prize of wonders. And one more. Let's see here. This is kindergarten. Jack and Caden. Great job, Jack and Caden. Come on up to the office, and you can each pick something out of the box. So, parents, thank you so much for trusting us here at GCS, and thank you for being so diligent in working together. I know we hear the phrase that we're all in this together, but here at GCS, I truly believe that. I believe that each one of you are looking out for the best interests of everyone here at this school as you're taking care of your families and friends and as you make decisions whether your child should come to school or not. You know, I can't thank you enough for doing that, and it gives me great pride to be able to say I'm working with all of you as we go through something that one day we're going to look back at and say, do you remember 2020 and all the different things that we had to go through? Well, anyway, that concludes the start of week 14's message. I'll be back to you next week unless something comes up that I need to change with you. But stay safe at home. Remember to take precautions. But most importantly, live your life. Don't live in fear, and enjoy each other, enjoy your families, and just continue to lift things up to Christ if you have concerns. And He is our true Father who will be there to help us. Ladies and gentlemen, moms and dads, grandmas and grandpas, and any students who are watching, thanks for tuning in today to the Grace Christian School show. I can't thank you enough for visiting, and we will see you next week.